We thought it would be on, then it was off, then it was on, then it was off. You know what I'm talking about. That fight against Alexander Usyk, which will now not happen. This was the latest expletive-laden rant from Tyson Fury just a little while ago.
Usyk, you little house. You proper little bag. Bog-eyed, gappy-teethed, ugly little rat. You little slimy. Tried all week to get out of it, begging for a rematch like a little girl. You got your rematch and didn't even want to fight at that. You little house. Always know that you was never man enough to tangle with the Gypsy King. Ever in your life, you little house. You little 14-stone coward. You little bag, you rat little. And your full team know it as well. And all the lawyers have got the full information. You little ugly. Keep running. Fight your way out the copper box now, bag, and always know that you or anybody else like you could never tangle with the Gypsy King, you house little coward.
Now, I'm not entirely sure, Simon, how much that, if anything, achieves. Are you? We know they were trying to get it on. Krashuk was on with Frank Warren saying they'll do their level best, but their level best wasn't good enough, and it's gone. But what does Fury expect to achieve with anything like that?
I don't know. I think, as you've seen in other videos, they have their little enclave of people around them in a little bubble, blowing smoke up people's backsides, making sure that they feel they're the most important person in the room, and so they don't really stray out of that space. Look, Tyson Fury, I don't know, listen, for the people that support Tyson Fury, that will be an outburst that will appeal to them. But the people that don't will think that's preposterous nonsense, that you could have resolved the situation. And ultimately, you've got an opportunity to have the undisputed fight. And you've made it about money. It's always been about money. It'll always be about money. The big problem is that they wanted this fight in Saudi Arabia. They couldn't get it there, so they had to go for a lesser purse. And now you want the other fella to take it all which ways. Frank Warren's argument, is right and it's wrong in equal measures. It's right that Tyson Fury brings ultimately the equation in the UK, and probably a slightly more aware public about Tyson Fury. It's wrong to suggest that Usyk should get less money for fighting Tyson Fury than he got potentially as an outcome as a result of the fight against Anthony Joshua, albeit in Saudi Arabia, albeit for a different purse. But you've made it to such a position that he's accepted one, and then you've got the rematch, and we can argue about who put the rematch clause in and who didn't want it in there. But you also wanted this guy to take the B-side in the argument in a rematch, even if he won it. And I think it's wrong. And Tyson Fury's outburst, for me, it's just... first of all, it's undignified and uninteresting. It's uninteresting. And the last thing you want Tyson Fury to be is uninteresting, because that will serve him no good in the end.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying Tyson's the A side, and I agree with you to a certain point. But when he fought Chisora, he wasn't exactly filling out the stadium, was he? If he's the A side, Usyk brings a lot to the table.
Tragically, he did, Carlton. Tragically, he did. They did fill the stadium tragically. It's a dog of a fight. I agree with you, but tragically, he did fill the stadium.
Or he puts bums on seats, Carlton.
Who?
Tyson.
No, I know he puts bombs on seats, but you know, at the end of the day, right, I think people are growing tired of, listen, don't get me wrong, I think he's a hell of a fighter, but people are growing tired of listening to him, right? I don't think the AJ fight happened because of him. I never believed the Usyk fight was going to happen because of him. You know, this Usyk guy, let's be honest with you, albeit you can say what you like, he's been on the front line over there. He's fighting for Ukraine. He's gone and said, right, I think 60-40 was a fair split in Tyson's favour, right? He's then gone and agreed 70-30 if you give $1 million to Ukraine, right? Now, do the fight. So he said, okay, there was a rematch clause put in there, as I understand it, which was put in from Tyson's end at the start of it.
There's an argument about that.
So now he wants the rematch clause.
But let's just give equitability in the conversation, right? The Fury-Joshua fight couldn't happen because Wilder invoked an arbitration clause to force him into a rematch.
But Tyson knew that in the first place.
But Frank Warren came on and said that they felt they could get around it. They didn't think it would stick. And I said at the time, I think it will stick, and it did stick.
Yeah.
The Fury fight against Joshua, I think Fury wanted that fight because it was 2.5 months after Joshua just got beaten by Usyk, and he had taken it. And Joshua was right not to take that fight, because 2.5 months after a fight against Usyk and all the emotional outbursts, you're not in your best condition. The person who's in his best condition is Fury. Don't give it to him.
Joshua knew the fight wasn't going to happen. He was just calling his
No.
bluff. I don't believe he knew that because his third fight was going to be under his own. So there was always going to be a problem.
I can assure you, they took it thinking that there was an opportunity to do it. Right?
No, I believe that.
But it was never right for Joshua, and I think Joshua's team pushed back on it. And if you listen to Eddie Hearn now, he tells you categorically he didn't think Joshua should take that fight. And the allegation from George Warren and Frank Warren, and I'm not defending them, was that Eddie went into underground with Frank Smith and didn't return phone calls.
Yeah.
So that we'll never know, right? This is a preposterous set of circumstances.
Yeah.
As much as I like Frank, I do like Frank, and I do like Ben Shalom. I'm not as warm towards Eddie Hearn. I'm quite honest about that because we have a different personality, we have different relationships, but I respect them all for what they have to do. In this instance, right, Frank's made it difficult for himself because he thought this fight was done. He's not squared a circle, so he comes out of it with no credit.
Yeah.
Fury comes out with little credit because what Tyson wanted was everything his own way, and that's not a deal. A deal has to be respectful of both sides of the equation.
Especially Usyk being a champion and holding
so
three of the belts.
On that basis, we all know what they're going to try and do. We all know that Usyk is going to try and take his fight with Wilder into Saudi Arabia and get paid that way. Yeah. They think they can't do it, and they're going to laugh at him if he end up fighting Daniel Dubois at the copper box for £2 million. But that doesn't alter the fact, Tyson, all that to one side.
Yeah.
You say that you want to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
Now, for a little bit of give and a little bit of tag and pull, you could have made this happen. But because you want to do everything your own way, now people will call you a coward as a result of it. And I've got to be honest, I'm not interested in that rubbish. It's all background noise. You can call him a gappy tooth, little middleweight, whatever else,
rubbish,
right?
Rubbish.
Do you know what? I couldn't care less about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've let yourself down, and you will continue to let yourself down until you up the ante a little bit and be a little bit better than you're currently being.
No, I mean, listen, I'm not so sure I would have tuned in to watch the fight anyhow because I'm getting a little bit tired of hearing Tyson going on.
You would have.
Okay, Usyk.
You would have.
Well, maybe
You
I would
have.
when it come around, but I'm getting a little bit tired of all the rants. Listen, if you want to be the best and you've got the chance to fight Usyk and you're earning obscene amount of money anyhow, you've got the belts, you know, you're going to be able to call the tune as you want to call the tune as it goes on from there.
Yeah.
Get the fight on.
I've got to say, a lot of people now totally disgusted with Fury. There's Dom, who's in Surrey. No one wants to hear empty words from Fury anymore. He should have let the boxing do the talking. He's starting now to sound a massive dosser himself.
But I don't believe he's frightened. I don't believe. Do you
No,
genuinely
no,
believe? I don't believe.
I don't believe that. I don't.
I think the big problem is, and I know it's not going to be particularly appealing. They don't want this fight in Wembley. They want it in Saudi Arabia. They want the 150 million quid.
But Tyson's side want that. They want the money. Usyk has agreed to go 70-30. Agreed to
And
fight.
what Frank Warren's argument is, you're going to get 30% of a fight, and if you went and fought 80-20 with a mandatory challenger, you'd still get more than 30% if you go and fight 80-20 when you've got the 80% split. But that's nonsense.
But you can't have that.
Because they're asking him to fight for a third of what he got for beating Joshua.
Yeah.
So it's got to be more balanced.
It's got to be more balanced. So you know, I don't understand.
But Tyson won't have it. No one's going to bring the problem with these two fighters, specifically Tyson Fury. Frank Warren, Bob Arum can't control him.
Yeah,
Tyson Fury. So
then
you've got nothing now.
Somebody should get a hold of him, actually, Carlton, because we like Tyson. Tyson comes out, he phones in here, he comes on with us.
Public demand.
But quite a lot of messages this lunchtime. For the first time I'm seeing this. Seems odd that someone who says he's an advocate for mental health talks in terms like that.
But that's
trash
talking.
I think it is over the top.
But the thing is,
not the message. I mean, what Tyson's
the
saying.
thing what's done Tyson in this situation is Usyk agreeing to the 70-30. See, I wouldn't have moved on the 60-40. Me personally, I've got 3 of the belts. Hey, by the way, I'm a unified cruiserweight champion, and I've now got 3 of the belts.
Yeah.
60-40 is a fair
Would have been
split.
fair.
I wouldn't have moved on that. So he's moved to get the fight on. This is what makes Tyson look bad. So he's gone to 70-30 and says, give $1 million to Ukraine.
And still they say
you
no.
want to have all the marbles since Lennox Lewis, agree to it and get it on.